will these companies be able to sustain these kind of valuations in the long run? That is the question. And remember, when we discuss this question as to whether these companies will be able to sustain these valuations, now we are not talking about only the companies that we have just discussed. We are discussing in general as to all these tech companies which are getting so huge valuations, and most of them have got converted into unicorn, and not only unicorn, some of them are even turning into decacorn. So will this sustain or will that not sustain? Let us find it out. तो अगर हम कुछ कंपनीज के रिजल्ट को एनालाइज करें तो हमको मालूम पड़ेगा कि कि पेटीएम पेटीएम कम आउट विद इश्यू प्राइस ऑफ 2155. On 17th November, it was quoting at 548, and I think yesterday it was even less than 500 also. So today, if you see, Paytm is quoting at a discount of 80% to its issue price, and it is just in 1 year. And I'm sure all of you would remember when the Paytm came out with the public issue, the issue price was 2,155, and within a week, the price of Paytm went down by 39%. 39%. And then, of course, now it is down by 80%. And that is where every one of us, as the valuation professional, need to stop and ask ourselves, is this really a valuation? Is this really a valuation? Paytm is a huge company. 14, 15, 16 मर्चेंट बैंकर्स ने उनका उस कंपनी को एडवाइस किया, और 14, 15 एक्सपीरियंस्ड मर्चेंट बैंकर ने उस कंपनी को एडवाइस किया, और उस कंपनी का वैल्यूएशन एक साल में घट के 80% से डिस्काउंट होता है. तो व्हाट काइंड ऑफ एक्सपर्टीज हैज बीन यूज्ड इन द वैल्यूएशन ऑफ पेटीएम? एंड if something has gone wrong, then we meaning the system needs to find out as to what has gone wrong and what should be done so that it does not happen in future. Look at Zomato, discount currently trading at a discount of 10%. LIC is the government of India company. LIC is supposed to having best of the valuation experts in the world. Best of the evaluation experts in the world. Or when this company comes out with the IPO, and what is happening today? Today LIC's issue itself is trading at a discount of 32%. So now a question comes to the mind of everyone कि भाई LIC जो कंपनी जिसका कि काम ही वैल्यूएशन करना है, जिसका कि काम ही रिस्क मैनेजमेंट करना है, जिसका कि काम ही इन्वेस्टमेंट करना है, उनसे बड़ा वैल्यूएशन एक्सपर्ट कौन हो सकता है? और LIC के इशू को 15-20 मर्चेंट बैंकर्स ने उसको एडवाइस किया, और किस तरह की वैल्यूएशन करी उन्होंने कि आज वो 32% के डिस्काउंट पे है. रिलायंस पावर 97% के डिस्काउंट पे है. रेट गेन ट्रेवल टेक्नोलॉजी 33% डिस्काउंट. कार ट्रेड टेक्नोलॉजी 70% डिस्काउंट. कृष्णा डायग्नोस्टिक्स 51% डिस्काउंट. SSS एंटरप्राइज 14% डिस्काउंट. फिनो पेमेंट्स बैंक 67% डिस्काउंट. आदित्य बिरला 40% डिस्काउंट. सूर्योदय स्मॉल बैंक 67% डिस्काउंट. कॉफी डे 85% डिस्काउंट. JP Infratech 98% discount. And Nykaa, of course, we all are aware as to what Nykaa has done, and we will discuss about it. Star Health 32% discount. Now remember, the list that I am discussing with you is not the list of all the companies whose stocks today are trading at a discount. As per Economic Times data, out of 164 issues which came out in last few years, out of those 164, 100 issues were trading at a discount to their issue price. Meaning what? Meaning something has gone wrong somewhere in the valuation. Otherwise, why should it happen that out of 164 companies, 100 companies trade at a discount? रिमेंबर फ्रेंड्स, वन कैन अंडरस्टैंड, वन कैन अप्रिशिएट कि अगर कोई कंपनी आईपीओ करती है और उसका इशू 10% से ऊपर नीचे हो जाए, इट इज अंडरस्टैंडेबल. It is at a discount of 10%, one can certainly give a benefit of doubt. But if the discount is 32% in case of a company like LIC, if the discount is of 80% in case of a company like Paytm, and which has so many advisors, that means something is seriously wrong somewhere. And we as the valuation professional really need to spend our time and find out as to what has gone wrong with respect to these companies. And as a result of that, the companies are quoting at such huge discounts. Remember friends, what is the worry, what is the concern? The concern in case of all such companies is not as far as the promoters are concerned. Why? Because promoters would have issued shares to themselves at the face value, at the face value. And now when the issue is made at a huge premium, they are the beneficiary, they have nothing to lose. And in any case, they are supposed to be the owners of the company, so they have nothing to lose in any case. The private equity people who will come in different rounds of funding, they will also enter relatively at cheaper valuations. The angel investor, who would just to pep up the issue, will come into the picture. They will also subscribe at relatively cheaper valuations. But when they offer these shares to the public, these are offered at a huge premium, and that is where who is the biggest victim or sufferer in the whole process, and that is the retail investor. And the retail investor unfortunately has no option, no choice. He only has to forget about it, and that's all, because he cannot go and put up his case to before any authority that something has gone wrong somewhere. And therefore this question of course is very valid as to whether this company will be able to sustain these kind of valuations. Now my answer to this question is twofold. Number one, if these companies are truly creating value, truly adding value, truly making system efficient, truly removing inefficiency from the system, then there is no doubt about it that these companies will continue to command premium, continue to command high valuations for all times to come, till the time these companies are removing inefficiencies, making the system more efficient, adding more value, creating more value. Where will the problem come? Problem will come when in the valuations of these companies, instead of value creation, if greed comes in, that is where it will be difficult for these companies to sustain their valuations, because value of a company will sustain so long as it is based on the fundamentals. The moment it is not based on the fundamentals, the moment it is based on the greed, then it will be difficult to sustain these valuations for these companies. Let me share with you friends as to what has gone wrong, and as valuation professional, all of us must be aware. And as a matter of fact, I will urge all of you, what I am discussing with you, please look at it with a magnifying glass. तो जो भी मैं आपके साथ में डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ उसको एक मैग्नीफाइंग ग्लास से देखिए. अगर आपको लगता है कि समथिंग विच आई एम सेइंग इज नॉट राइट, प्लीज फील फ्री टू करेक्ट मी now or later, and I will be very happy to receive your corrections, because the crux to this whole problem lying some deficiencies in the system. What those deficiencies are, we are now going to understand. So why these companies, why IPO debacles like Reliance Power, LIC, Paytm, Zomato and many likes of them have happened? Can this be stopped? Can this be stopped? तो देखिए, अगर हिंदुस्तान में based on the provisions of section 47, based on the provisions of the valuation rules, if in India, if any company has to be valued, it has to be valued taking into account the provisions of section 247, taking into account the provisions of the valuation rules, taking into account the provisions of Ind AS 113 on fair value measurement, and taking into account the valuation standards issued by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India or the IVSC, that is International Valuation Standards Committee. तो ये फ्रेमवर्क है जो कि किसी भी कंपनी ने हिंदुस्तान में फॉलो करना चाहिए फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ वैल्यूएशन. लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड as per Ind AS 113 what are the norms prescribed in this country for the purpose of valuation. So the norms which are prescribed under the Ind AS 113, and please remember, I am sure all of you know this in any case, Ind AS 113 does not mandate कि आपको कौन सा approach use करना चाहिए for the purpose of valuation. Ind AS 113 only tells you that these are the three approaches for the purpose of valuation, and that is income approach, market approach, and asset approach. Ind AS 113 will definitely tell you as to when do you have to use these approaches. So number one, Ind AS 113 gives you a hierarchy of valuation. So Ind AS 113 में it gives you hierarchy of valuation. And what is the hierarchy of valuation as per Ind AS 113? The hierarchy of valuation as per Ind AS 113 is there is number one, level 1 input. And what is level 1 input? Level 1 input as per Ind AS 113 says that in case if you have to do the valuation of a company which is listed on a stock exchange, then for the purpose of valuation you must take the quoted price as the basis for the valuation of that company, and which is of course very well understood. And why it is very well understood? Because quoted price है, and that quoted price has been arrived at based on the market forces. तो वो जो स्टॉक है स्टॉक मार्केट पे लिस्टेड है, स्टॉक मार्केट पे लिस्टेड है, पीपल आर बाइंग, पीपल आर बिडिंग टू बाय एंड पीपल आर बिडिंग टू सेल. सो बेस्ड ऑन दैट वो प्राइस इमर्ज होती है एंड दैट इज द कोटेड प्राइस. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू Ind AS 113 द लेवल 1 इनपुट इज द कोटेड प्राइस. क्या मतलब है कहने का मतलब ये है कि अगर आप किसी भी कंपनी का वैल्यूएशन कर रहे हैं और वो कंपनी अगर स्टॉक एक्सचेंज पे लिस्टेड है तो फिर आपको क्या करना है, उस कंपनी की जो कोटेड प्राइस है उसके बेसिस पर आपको उस कंपनी का वैल्यूएशन करना है. And then of course there are SEBI regulations in this respect, and they will tell you as to अगर कोई कंपनी दो स्टॉक एक्सचेंजेस पर लिस्टेड है तो आपको कौन से स्टॉक एक्सचेंज की प्राइस को लेना है, और अगर frequently traded share है कि नहीं किया वो आपको, all those are there as part of the SEBI regulations in any case. But remember level 1 input, that is as per Ind AS 113. Now Ind AS 113 talks about level 2 input, and this is where friends you and I need to pay attention. What is the meaning of level 2 input? Level 2 input का मतलब ये है according to Ind AS 113, if you are valuing a company and that company is not listed on a stock exchange, and that means the option of taking the quoted price is not available to you, because option of the quoted price is level 1 input, and since this company is not listed, it is quoted price is not available. If the quoted price is not available, level 1 input is ruled out. Then what is the option that you have for the valuation of this company? Option that you have for the valuation of this company is to go for level 2 input. And what is level 2 input? Level 2 input का मतलब ये है कि find out observable data, observable information about a company of which you want to do valuation. Meaning what? Meaning find a comparable company. तो जिस कंपनी का आप वैल्यूएशन कर रहे हैं उसके जैसी कोई दूसरी कंपनी फाइंड आउट करिए जो कि लिस्टेड है स्टॉक एक्सचेंज पे, और उसकी जो कोटेड प्राइस है उसकी कोटेड प्राइस को adjust for the difference between the target company for which you want to do the evaluation and the listed company whose quoted price you are using as a reference. So दोनों कंपनियों में डिफरेंस मालूम करिए, quoted price कंपनी को एडजस्ट करिए, and that becomes the basis for the purpose of valuation of your target company, and that is your level input 2. Or what you can do, if that is also not available, then based on a comparable transaction you can do the evaluation of the target company for whose you want to do the valuation. Now please pay attention. अगर आपको Paytm का valuation करना है, can you take the quoted price? Obviously no. And why you cannot take the quoted price in case of Paytm? Because Paytm is not a listed company. If Paytm is not a listed company, that means level 1 input is not available. If level 1 input is not available, that means quoted price cannot be the basis for the valuation of Paytm. Then what can be the valuation for Paytm? Option 2. What is the option 2? Option 2 is level 2 input. What is level 2 input? Find a comparable company. कंपेरेबल कंपनी का मतलब क्या कि पेटीएम जैसी कोई कंपनी स्टॉक एक्सचेंज पर लिस्टेड है क्या, और अगर आप रिसर्च करेंगे और देखेंगे तो आपको मालूम पड़ेगा कि पेटीएम जैसी कोई दूसरी कंपनी स्टॉक एक्सचेंज पर लिस्टेड नहीं है। इसका मतलब सेकंड लेवल इनपुट आल्सो इज नॉट अवेलेबल टू यू। अब क्या करोगे आप? हाउ डू यू डू द इवैल्यूएशन ऑफ दिस ऑफ पेटीएम फॉर कमिंग आउट विद आईपीओ? एंड एज पर Ind AS 113 it is that you will have to go for label input 3. You will have to go for label input 3. And what is level 3 input? Level 3 input का मतलब ये है quoted price अवेलेबल नहीं है, ruled out. Comparable company अवेलेबल नहीं है, ruled out. Now what is the option for the valuation of this company? The option is use अनऑब्जर्वेबल डाटा, यानी कि पेटीएम का आपको वैल्यूएशन करना है तो पेटीएम की कोटेड प्राइस अवेलेबल नहीं है, भूल जाओ। पेटीएम की कोई कंपैरेटिव कंपनी अवेलेबल नहीं है, भूल जाओ। तो अगर आपको पेटीएम का वैल्यूएशन करना है तो पेटीएम की वैल्यूएशन करने के लिए आपको अनऑब्जर्वेबल डाटा का इस्तेमाल करना पड़ेगा। और अनऑब्जर्वेबल डाटा का मतलब क्या है कि यू क्रिएट सम इंफॉर्मेशन that can become a good basis for the purpose of valuation of Paytm or a company like Paytm. Meaning what? Meaning now you have the choice of using discounted cash flow method. So remember level 3 input का मतलब क्या है? Level 3 input का मतलब है use the discounted cash flow method. Use the discounted cash flow method. Now this is friends as per the Ind AS 113 and this is as per the section 247. This is as per the valuation rules and this is as per the valuation standards that we have in this country. So ये जो कंपनियां हैं वो पेटीएम हो, वो जोमेटो हो, वो रिलायंस पावर हो, वो LIC हो, वो नायका हो या कोई भी कंपनी हो जिनके हम बात कर रहे हैं, वो सारी कंपनियों का आईपीओ के लिए वैल्यूएशन कैसे होना चाहिए था? उस तरीके से होना चाहिए था जो हमने डिस्कस किया है। लेकिन इन कंपनियों का एक्चुअल में वैल्यूएशन कैसे हुआ? आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू वुड नो दिस। विल एनी वन ऑफ यू नो कि जोमेटो का या पेटीएम का वैल्यूएशन के लिए उन्होंने किस अप्रोच को यूज किया या किस मेथड को यूज किया? विल समबडी लाइक टू शेयर दैट विद मी, विद एवरी वन ऑफ अस? Will anyone like to share, in case if you know, as to what approach or method was used for the valuations of Zomato's IPO or Paytm's IPO or LIC's IPO? Alright, no worries. Let me share with you friends as to how these valuations were done. Let's take an example of Zomato. So I'm going to show you another document and in case if you do not see it on your screen, please do let me know, and so that I'm able to do something so as to ensure that you are able to see this document on your screen. Are you able to see it on your screen? Devan?
The document is visible on the screen. Probably this is the red herring prospectus or something like that.
Alright, yes. So do you see a basis for offer price?
Yes,
Okay.
we can see.
Very good, very good. So that means we are on the same page. Alright. अब ये जो document है friends जो आप देख रहे हैं, now this is how the offer price was decided in case of Zomato, in case of Paytm and in case of LIC. I have got the documents for Paytm and LIC also, but when I read the document of Paytm and LIC also, I find that all the three documents are more or less same. Now please pay attention. What does it say? It says basis for offer price. The offer price will be determined by our company in consultation with the selling shareholder and the managers on the basis of assessment of market demand for equity shares offered through the book building process and on the basis of quantitative and qualitative factors as described below. Now this is the approach or method that has been used by Zomato or Paytm or LIC for the purpose of pricing their IPO. Now, as we understand Section 247, every valuation in this country has to be done by a registered valuer. When you go through the prospectus of these companies, at least I was not able to see any mention of any registered valuer who did valuation of Zomato or Paytm or LIC. If you are able to find it out, please do let me know. And that's number one. Number two, the method and the approach in particular is very clearly mentioned in the valuation standard and in the Index 113, and that is income approach, asset approach, or the market approach. I do not see in the entire prospectus, and especially when it comes to the page pertaining to the basis for the offer price, any mention of any of those incomes and the approaches. And friends, that is the reason why things have gone wrong in the valuation of these companies. So according to Section 247 of the Companies Act, valuation should be done by a registered valuer, but there seems to be no mention in the RHB. Okay, so this is one.
कोई कुछ एक्शन नहीं लिया जा सकता है अभी, मतलब बिकॉज जब रजिस्टर्ड वैल्यूअर ही नहीं था एज पर एक्ट, अगर होना चाहिए है रजिस्टर्ड वैल्यूअर.
Yeah, so see, that is, yes, that is what we are discussing, and if it is so, then of course you cannot do anything about the past, but for sure you can do something about the future. So even if we are able to take care of the future, I think that's fair enough. And of course, whatever can be done about the past, of course, will have to be done. And that may be a topic for another discussion. Now, friends, let me give you statutory provision for valuation. So, as the valuation professional, we should know as to what are the statutory provisions for valuation. Number one, Section 247 of the Companies Act 2013 requires that every valuation should be done by a registered valuer. Number two, valuation standards by IVSC and ICAI provide for three approaches that we have discussed. Index 113 provides for three-stage valuation hierarchy: quoted price, observable data, and unobservable data, which is the case when there is no comparable company available. And that means what you have to do, you need to create your own data for the purpose of doing valuation. And that means what you need to do, you need to project the future cash flows of the company, and those projected future cash flows becomes basis for determining fair value of the company, and that is as per your Index 113. Another very interesting thing is with regard to the SEBI regulations. Now I am sure all of you would be aware that before SEBI, the controller of capital issues was the capital market regulator up to the year 1990, and after that we had advent of SEBI. Now CCI, controller of capital issue, would have a fixed formula for determining as to at what price a company could do the pricing of its IPO. At that point in time, the industry thought that this formula was not good enough for the industry, for the corporate world to command a right kind of premium, and that is how CCI was done away with and SEBI came as a new regulator. Now when you look at Regulation 6 of SEBI ICDR Regulations 2018, what does it read? Regulation 6.1 says, for any company to do the issue of a share at a premium, there are 4 conditions that got to be met, and I would like all of you to please pay your maximum attention to this. What are the 3 conditions? The 3 conditions are: number 1, the company should have net tangible assets of rupees 3 crore, यानी कि कंपनी की नेट टेंजिबल एसेट 3 करोड़ कम से कम होनी चाहिए. Number 2, the net worth of the company must be 1 crore, Of course, this we are talking about of the early 90s, and therefore this 1 crore may appear to be a very small amount today, but it still continues to be 1 crore only. Number 3, the third condition is average profit, average operating profit of the company that wants to issue shares at a premium should be at least 15 crore for last 3 years. यानी कि आप देखिए रेगुलेशन 6 सब रेगुलेशन 1 से कि अगर किसी कंपनी को प्रीमियम पे इश्यू करना है तो उस कंपनी का पास्ट प्रॉफिट रिकॉर्ड होना चाहिए. अगर पास्ट प्रॉफिटेबल रिकॉर्ड नहीं है 3 साल का तो वो कंपनी फ्री प्राइसिंग को रिसोर्ट नहीं कर सकती है. एंड देन देयर वाज कंडीशन 4 व्हिच ऑफ कोर्स हैज गॉट अ डिफरेंट कॉन्टेक्स्ट. Now, against the regulation 6 sub regulation 1, what the regulation 6(2) says, and it says SEBI ICDR sub regulation 2 of regulation 6 is interpreted to allow free pricing if the company follows book building process. यानी कि क्या है कहने का मतलब ये है, according to sub regulation 2 of regulation 6, अगर एक कंपनी बुक बिल्डिंग प्रोसेस को फॉलो कर रही है तो उस कंपनी का प्रॉफिट रिकॉर्ड नहीं होने दो. उस कंपनी की इंटेंजिबल एसेट्स नहीं होने दो. उस कंपनी के पास में एवरेज प्रॉफिट 15 करोड़ का नहीं होने दो. अगर वो कंपनी बुक बिल्डिंग प्रोसेस फॉलो कर रही है तो वो कंपनी जो भी प्राइस पे इशू करना चाहे वो कर सकती है. नाउ दिस इज समथिंग व्हिच इज एक्सट्रीमली स्ट्रेंज. And why this is something extremely strange, and that is because जब भी कोई कंपनी बुक बिल्डिंग प्रोसेस के थ्रू आईपीओ करती है तो याद रखिए वो बुक बिल्डिंग का प्रोसेस के लिए पब्लिक को ये नहीं बोलते हैं कि आप बताइए कि आप इस शेयर को कितनी प्राइस पे खरीदेंगे. कंपनी जब आईपीओ लेके आती हैं तो वो कंपनी रेंज देती हैं कि ये जो शेयर है, इस कंपनी का जो शेयर है वो आप 600 रुपए से लेके 625 रुपए के बीच में इसको बिड कर सकते हैं. इसका मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब ये है कि आप बुक बिल्डिंग प्रोसेस यूज कर रहे हो, लेकिन सब्सक्राइबर हैज गॉट नो ऑप्शन. ही हैज टू कोट फॉर द शेयर बिटवीन 600 to 625. अब रिटेल इन्वेस्टर को ये कैसे मालूम पड़ेगा कि ये 625 या 600 की जो प्राइस है कैसे डिटरमिन की गई है? उसके बारे में रेड हेरिंग प्रोस्पेक्टस में कोई भी इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं है, कोई भी डिटेल नहीं है. आप बुक बिल्डिंग प्रोसेस का इस्तेमाल करना चाहते हैं, बिल्कुल करिए, लेकिन वो 600 रुपए से लेके 625 की जो रेंज आपने डिसाइड करी है, कम से कम ये तो बताइए कि आपने वो रेंज किस बेसिस पर डिसाइड करी है, किस रजिस्टर्ड वैल्यूअर को आपने यूज किया वो रेंज फिक्स करने के लिए. And that means what? That means there is a basic flaw in the use of the book building process. If the book building process has to be used, it should be just left to the investor to decide as to at what price he would like to buy the share. Company can give an idea in terms of the valuation, full details कि PE करेंगे तो इतना होगा, कंपेरेबल कंपनी करेंगे तो इतना होगा, एसेट के वैल्यू पे करेंगे तो इतना होगा, दे सकते हैं. But if you are giving a range, who has decided that range? Are you giving a choice to the investor to buy that share at a cheaper price or a price which is lower than the range? No, you are not giving a choice. You are not giving that option. And that is the crux of the whole problem. And that is the reason, if that is not stopped, if that is not checked, if regulation 6(2) of ICDR 2018 is not interpreted correctly, the debacles like Paytm or Zomato or Nykaa or Reliance or so many of these companies, friends, will keep on happening. Now what does it mean? It means valuation without use of registered valuer will be violative of section 247 of the Companies Act. Violation using any approach other than income approach, market approach and asset approach will be violative of valuation standards and Ind AS 113, and therefore use of discounted cash flow method will only method that is available to a company which is not able to use label 1 input or label 2 input. And if discounted cash flow method is used in case of the pricing of such IPOs, then you can have a situation where the valuations of all these IPOs will be on a realistic basis. So this, friends, is the statutory provisions for the valuations. Let us now conclude. And what is the conclusion? Conclusion is number one, there is no doubt fintech is need of the hour. इसमें कोई शक नहीं है कि हिंदुस्तान को ही नहीं बल्कि पूरी दुनिया को फिनटेक की जरूरत है. फिनटेक कंपनीज are need of the hour. There is no doubt about it. There is no dispute about it. It is non-negotiable. It is mandatory. And why it is non-negotiable? Why it is mandatory? And that is because जिस तरह से दुनिया की पॉपुलेशन बढ़ी है, जिस तरह से हिंदुस्तान की पॉपुलेशन बढ़ी है, अगर सारे बैंकिंग ऑपरेशंस, इंश्योरेंस ऑपरेशंस, कैश ट्रांजैक्शंस, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, अगर ये दुनिया भर के ट्रांजैक्शंस मैन्युअली करने जाए, अगर हिंदुस्तान की सारी बैंक्स या हिंदुस्तान के सारे क्रेडिट कार्ड्स, अगर ये सारे हिंदुस्तान की सारी इंश्योरेंस कंपनी और जितने भी CNB जो नॉन बैंकिंग फाइनेंस कंपनीज हैं, दी एंटायर फाइनेंशियल मार्केट, इफ दे हैव टू suddenly work without using the fintech and use the manual methods, you can imagine it will just not be possible to run and operate. And therefore, there is no doubt about it that fintech is a must and it is an absolute necessity. Number two, but valuations driven by greed and manipulations are dangerous for retail investors and system as a whole, hence should be checked. अभी आप सभी ने देखा होगा कि नायका ने क्या किया. नायका ने कुछ दिन पहले उसके जो लॉक इन पीरियड था वो 1 साल का था. तो वो 1 साल का जब वो लॉक इन पीरियड खत्म हुआ तो नायका के जो प्रमोटर हैं, जो ओनर्स हैं, उनको लगा कि अगर लॉक इन पीरियड खत्म होगा तो जितने भी बड़े बड़े इन्वेस्टर्स हैं जिन्होंने कि बहुत सस्ते में शेयर्स लिए हुए हैं, वो तुरंत के तुरंत अपने शेयर्स को डंप करेंगे. और डंप करेंगे तो क्या होगा, नायका की जो IPO प्राइस है, जो रूलिंग प्राइस है, इट विल नोज डाइव. Now, just to manipulate that, just to check that, just to prevent the large shareholders from doing that, what they did, they came out with a bonus issue. And what ratio? Ratio of 1:5. That means everyone who was holding 5 shares of the company, he will get another 5 bonus shares of that company. And please remember, how have they given the bonus? Did Nykaa had reserves and surplus of that quantum? Answer is no. Then what did Nykaa use for giving the bonus share? Nykaa used share premium for giving the bonus share. यानी कि 1 साल पहले जो आपने शेयर प्रीमियम लोगों से कलेक्ट किया, आप उसी शेयर प्रीमियम को लोगों को वापस दे रहे हो. और क्यों दे रहे हो? इसलिए नहीं क्योंकि आप लोगों से खुश हो या आप लोगों को खुश करना चाहते हो. आप इसलिए दे रहे हो ताकि जो आपके लार्ज शेयर होल्डर्स हैं वो अपने शेयर्स को डंप ना करें. और वो डंप अगर करते हैं तो आपकी जो मार्केट प्राइस है वो नोज डाइव करेगी. नोज डाइव करेगी तो आपकी कंपनी की रेपुटेशन मार्केट में खत्म हो जाएगी.